This is the Hypothetically Sound podcast,
hosted by Alec, Randy, and Xavier,
where we take a hypothetical look at the world around us,
exploring the what ifs, maybes, and how comes.
Join in on the unfiltered, raw, and real conversations
as we explore the world around us. Welcome back to Hypothetically Sound. We hope that you guys are having a good day. I am Randy, as always, joined by my brother Alec.
Hello.
And today we are number 96 of Apple Music's top 100 albums of all time, Pure Heroine by Lorde. Now, Alec, what do you know about Lorde coming into this album?
I graduated high school in 2013, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Lorde was a big artist then. You couldn't go anywhere without hearing Royals or Team,
Yeah.
So she was kind of a big part of like that memory of my like high school career.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, really nothing. I'll be honest.
No, same. I know, like, obviously her really popular song, Royals. But outside of that, I don't know anything about Lorde. I know there's a clip of her dancing with, like, Taylor Swift at the Grammys or something. That's as much as I know about Lorde and her music. Before obviously listening to her album and doing a little research for the podcast.
Right.
If you're out there listening to this and you are also wondering who Lorde is or a little bit about Lorde, I'll give you some information real quick. Pure Heroine is her debut studio album. Like Alex said, it came out in 2013. She is a New Zealand singer-songwriter. Couple interesting things real quick. She tried for a while to like hook up with songwriters, and just a bunch of them apparently didn't work out with her and what she was trying to do until she partnered with a man named Joe Little. If you're into the pop scene, that name should be familiar because he works with like Taylor Swift's and a lot of the big pop stars now. Pure Heroine and Lorde's sound is classified as electric pop and dream pop, and it's known for its minimalist production, deep bass, and program beats. It did well. It got nominated for Best Vocal Album at the Grammys. Her lead single Royals was a top charter for a while. You just listen to the album. If you haven't, when you hear it, you're going to, at least to me, you're going to hear a lot of influence in what you hear today in pop music from the Olivia Rodrigos, the Miley Cyruses, the Taylor Swifts. A lot of their sound, I think, can be traced back to this album. So you ready to dive into the album?
Yeah, man.
Okay, we start with track number 1 called Tennis Courts. What did you think?
Yeah, so Tennis Court is okay start off of the album. It's Lorde. It is a unique voice, especially for the time, right? Unique cadence. It has more like darkish tone. It sets off the theme of the album, which is kind of like about like the songs about her life changing and her fame rising, right?
Yeah.
Like for me personally, it's honestly kind of what I expected from Lorde. Only knowing the few songs I knew, it's a soothing sound, and she sings nice. I like it. 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I agree. I had the exact same rating, 7 out of 10. I said that I think she is a very talented artist. It goes back to me saying that like you can hear her influence in current day pop stars. And that's what I wrote in the note. I said, one issue I have, and that I think I'm going to have a lot in this list, is listening to an album for the first time after so many years of it being out, because you hear other artists in their music.
Mm-hmm.
And so as I'm listening, like it's a good song, but to me it sounded like a lot of pop music, current pop music. And so that makes it, to me, less unique. But then you're like, wait, this song came out 10 years before what I'm hearing now. But it's still it creates a bias in your head.
Yeah, I always. I'm sorry for interrupting.
No,
But yeah, when I listen to these, I always like look at the date of when it was released, and I kind of factor that into my opinion as well, because like you said, it is very common sound-ish now.
Mm-hmm.
But back in like 2013, it wasn't. And that's why some of these songs blew up, and she blew up the way she did, you know?
Yeah, I found myself like halfway through the album looking up who produced it to see what he produces now.
Yeah.
Because I'm like this sounds like a Taylor Swift beat, or this sounds like Olivia Rodrigo, or whoever he's been working with now, and that's just part of him being a producer,
Right.
and being a good producer and working with bigger named artists.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not a bad track, and it's nothing to take away from her. It's just a observation I made while listening to the album. Is like listening to something for the first time after 10, 20, 30 years. And it was the same thing with the Eagles. Like I am going to have some biases or some or some kind of differential towards the album just because I'm going to hear someone else's music that I know in their music, and I have to remember maybe this came out before that, so this would be the influence and not like they took the influence.
Right.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, yeah.
But yeah, 7 out of 10 for tennis
Yes.
courts.
Yeah,
We both gave it. And then we move to the next track, number 2, which is 400 Lux.
Yeah, man, this was a slow burn type of song.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm usually very, very indifferent about slow burn songs. Like, slow burns make me anxious.
Yeah.
This one I do, however, think it is fairly good.
Mm-hmm.
Again, knowing the songs that I knew from high school and like listening to Tennis Court, and this, like, Lorde found her sound and her like topic in this album, and it's a soothing kind of calming sound to me. I gave it a 7 out of 10 as well.
Fair. I agree with the soothing sound. I put in my notes that I would put the song on in the background while trying to sleep.
Yeah.
I said I think it was a cool song. Just to me, it was nothing special. And so I gave it a 5 out of 10, and that's just in my ratings, middle of the road. It's a good song, shows her skills, her style, but there's nothing in the song that would make me want to come back to it.
Yeah, that's fair.
The next track is probably her biggest song still to date, which is Royals. I said clearly it is a mainstream hit, and I can't lie, it is a very catchy hook. I always enjoyed the song. I think looking into parasocial relationships people have with celebrities is always an interesting thing to do because it is always relevant no matter when you listen to it. And that's what the song's about, is parasocial relationships and wanting to have these riches and fames that you see other people having, which is why social media stars are so popular, is because you see people doing stuff that you can't do. And so for her to tackle it and make it so popular and hit it right on the nose is always impressive. I do think there's a lot with the song that could be better. Just like vocally wise and things like that. So I only did give it a 7 out of 10, but I think it's a really good song. I see why it's popular.
I think I'd have to disagree on the vocal things. I think, like, I don't think a lot of people could pull off Royals. I think this is like Lorde's song. Like, I don't think anyone else could really pull it off the way she does.
Fair.
And it be as popular as it was. I think it has to be her.
Fair.
With that being said, I think the song warranted its popularity. You know, you couldn't go anywhere in 2013 without hearing this. I gave it an 8.5 out of 10. I know I souped it up for her, but like, and it wasn't that much of a difference, but I do think it was higher than a 7.
No, that's fair. Like I said, I like the song, and you're right. It is not one of those songs that can be done by another artist. Where
it definitely can be done by other artists. It just won't be popular.
Yeah. It wouldn't have the same feel, wouldn't have the same style, wouldn't have the same nuances that made it popular.
Yes.
I just think that she could have, like, I feel like she sang it at like a 7, and she could have sang it at a 9 or 10.
I don't know. After listening to the album, like initially, I think I would have agreed before listening to this album, but like after listening to this album, I feel like if she sang it any harder, it would not fit with the concept.
Fair. That's also fair. Very fair. Yeah, and that's the point of this is we each have different takes in music, and some you're gonna like, some you're not gonna like. It's not a popularity contest. It's how we feel about the music.
Yeah, it's all opinion. I'm not saying you're wrong.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, dude, we got Ribs next.
Yep.
I like the contrast of her voice between the verses in this. It's a song about growing up, essentially, and like during the verses where she's talking about being grown, I guess she uses her normal like deeper type voice, right?
Yeah.
But when it hits the chorus, she goes a little bit like higher pitched and almost more youthful. And I think it's like a really good touch for the song. Overall, it's a super simple song to me, but it's still good. I gave it a 7 out of 10.
Fair. I think there's definitely a disconnect because in 2013, I've been out of college or high school. I'm 3 to 4 years in college at this point. And so her music's really not for me. And like, I never really searched it out. And so some of the things that you point out just didn't click for me. And like, I even hearing the lyrics, like didn't click for me in my head. I said it's a good song. But for me, I didn't think there was anything special that makes it jump out on the album or as a hit or anything like that. And I gave it a 6 out of 10. So not far off of what you gave it. Just a step below. And then we move to number 5 on the album called Buzz Cut Season. I said I enjoyed how this song was put together. Because she is, while it is dream pop and electro pop, it is a darker pop in most of her songs. And I felt like this song was a little lighter, at least to me. And I like that. It was a nice change to what her album was up to that point. And I gave it a 7 out of
10. I didn't put a lot in my notes. It was only 2 sentences. It was something about the beat in her voice scratches the brain itch in this song. Personally, my favorite, 7.5 out of 10.
Nice.
Yeah, I guess I really liked it. Well, I liked it more than anything else on the album. Listening to it quick here, and it sounds like I see what I mean. It does sound nice. It's definitely not like the dark tone that she has on everything else. There's more of like a pep to it, almost like even in her voice. There's just like a little something extra that's like hopeful, I guess.
Then we move to what is my favorite track on the album, number 16. Which is again one of her popular songs, and I personally think, like, even when I heard it on the radio and stuff, I thought it was better on the Royals. I like the flow, the structure, the beat, how it slowly builds up and then leads into her chorus and her verses, and I just, it keeps you in. It's a great song to me. The beat drags you in, then her vocals on top of it is fantastic. Good lyrics. I give it an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I also gave it an 8 out of 10. I did put that I didn't think it was better than Royals, but it is one of the better or best tracks on the album. The very beginning reminds me of Gorillaz for some reason. It's the like repeating part.
Yeah.
But yes, again, it was one of her bigger hits. It was on the radio everywhere. Super nostalgic. I didn't know the title of it, so like when it popped up, I was like, "Oh shit, it's this!" Like, hell yeah.
Yeah, same.
So, again, definitely warranted the popularity it got. Good song.
And we move to track number 7 on the album, Glory and Gore. What did you think?
This one didn't really hit the same
Mhm.
level as the others up to that point so far, like at all.
Yeah.
I don't know what about it was different, but I did put in my notes, ours. I did put in my notes that as much as I do enjoy the album up until this point and all her beat choices and style, it's very easy for them to blend together. And I kind of
Yeah.
sound like you saying that. But like she does have, like I said earlier, she has a sound and she sticks to it. And because everything's at that same cadence for the most part, and could be why I like Buzz Cut Season so much, is because it was slightly different. That it does just blend together. At this time, I had not taken a break from the album either,
Mhm.
and so I was like, it's not bad. It's just kind of mid. It's probably my least favorite. It was a 5 out of 10 for me.
Yeah.
And it also just so happens to be like my lowest rating.
No, that's fair. Listening to the song, again, it's another one where you can hear the influence in other artists, especially she does this thing where at the end of her verse where the beat slowly fades and then drops into the chorus. I put in my notes, I was hoping for a more dramatic beat drop when they did that, and it to go harder than it did. I think that would put the song over the top to me. I enjoyed it for what it was. I did give it a 7 out of 10, so obviously I enjoyed it more than other songs.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I definitely like understand where you're coming from. I think there were points, like I said, if they could have just went a little harder and like changed, it would have put a whole new spin on the album if this was more upbeat electric. Like it's almost there. It's like 50-60% of the way to being a upbeat electric song at points, and if they would just pushed it all the way, I think it would have made the song a hit.
That's
And
fair.
then yeah. The next song, and we're almost done. There's only 3 tracks left.
Yep.
Is
This
number
is a
8.
short album. It's only 37 minutes. I didn't take a break during this album, by the way. Like it was 37 minutes. I thugged it out.
Yeah, it's fair. Like there's definitely some albums on here that need to be taken because they're an hour and a half,
or they're just not like what you're used to.
Mm-hmm. But this wasn't one. I definitely listened to it all the way through, and it was pretty painless. And
yeah.
Even though like she's getting middle of the road ratings for me, like it doesn't make it a bad album by any means. Yeah. Track number 8 is called "Still Sane."
Yeah.
I said, and this isn't. I say this on other songs as I've listened. It felt like it was written for a TV show or a movie. And after doing a little research on Joe Little, that makes sense because he does do songs for movies and TV shows. And so I think he probably had more influence on the song. It's a good song. It's very slow. It's purposeful. I give it a 6 out of 10, but I feel like it would be like used in a trailer for some teen rom-com or teen dramatic Netflix movie.
Yeah, I also gave it a 6.5 out of 10. So very close to your rating.
Mm-hmm.
I said it was just kind of another slow song. It was a little different from other songs, but yeah, I 100% agree. It definitely sounds like something that plays in a trailer or plays like at like the end climax of an episode or something. So yeah.
I literally could have been in 13th Reason, 13 Reason Why type show.
Yeah, that's fair.
Especially because I'm pretty sure it came out a couple years before 13 Reason Why, so definitely could have fit in perfectly, and you wouldn't have thought about it for a second.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, so for the next title, I fucking hate the title. I hate the title.
Yeah.
Let me rephrase it. White Teeth Teens.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking hate it. It's so bad. I even wrote that as my first note. I hate the title of this song, Lamau. Like, it's so bad.
I had to write it like 3 times because I kept misspelling.
Yeah. Besides the title, I was slightly disappointed in this song. With that being said, I'll just give the rating right now. It was a 7 out of 10. Like, it's a good song. I was slightly disappointed because I was hoping for a little bit more oomph on the beat drop and stuff.
Yeah.
Like this would be like the upbeat anthem with like deeper lyric type thing on the album, and it just didn't hit that for me. So I gave it expectations off of like the initial like first 10 seconds, and I was like, oh, now my opinion's ruined.
Yeah.
But it's still a 7 out of 10.
I said that you can hear more so in this song than some of her other songs. You can hear her influence on pop music in the future. I said a lot of the things she did in this song has been used or is currently influencing current day artists like Billie Eilish and Olivia Rodrigo. I think it's a interesting song. It has a cool like 30-second, 45-second outro that's interesting. I did give it a 7 out of 10. But I do agree that it was missing some things that could have, again, and I think this goes to a lot of her songs, is it's missing like one or two components to put it over the top and make it a very, very good album.
Then we get to the final track, which is A World Alone. One of the longer I think it's actually the longest track on the whole album.
Yeah.
By like a good like 40 seconds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's almost a 5-minute track.
Mm-hmm. It's the closure of the album. Again, it sticks with the theme of the whole album of like her growing up, fame, all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
I think it's a good closer. It has the feel of a final word song. Kind of brings it back to the beginning of the album as well, where their first line is in tennis courts is "Don't you think it's boring?" or that it's boring how people talk, which she brings up,
Yeah.
In the song. I think it's a nice little tie-in. It wraps up the album very well. I gave it an 8 out.
That's fair. I did say also, I feel like I say this every time. I haven't heard a bad song to wrap up an album yet. So this is a good end to the album. I think the album in general is solid. I think it targeted a certain audience, and it was the people who were 16 to 18 at the time of it coming out. And that's perfectly fine. Like that's the audience you want to reach, because there's a lot of kids that are going to listen to it, and then they'll just continue growing older with your music as you grow up.
Yeah.
To me, though, I thought while the album is solid, it wasn't anything overly amazing. I understand her place on the list because I've said multiple times it influenced the genre, and I think that's a lot of what Apple Music is going for, is how has this album influenced records to come after it.
Right.
And while like some of the albums we listened to so far, the out of the 4, I don't think like are great out. Like not all of them are great albums. I do understand their influence on their specific genre or just music as a whole. And I did say the song is a vibe. And I thought the whole album has a vibe to it. But it's not something that I would ever listen to again. Like I didn't add any of the songs to any of my playlist. I won't go back and listen to the album after today. If it comes on my my Spotify daily playlist, I'll listen to it. But yeah, I'm not going to search out any song on this album. I gave this song a 7 out of 10. And as a whole, Pure Heroine by Lorde got a 6.5 out of 10 for me.
My rating was close. I gave my overall opinion on the whole album as a whole a 7 out of 10. So yeah, I mean it was close.
Yeah, while not the lowest we've reviewed so far,
yeah, definitely not the lowest, and it's middle of our opinion.
Yeah. It's a good album. I probably, to be fair, I probably would have put this at 100 instead of Body Talk and moved Body Talk off the list. Like just at where we're at right now, I would have put Lorde at 100 and took off Robin from the list in general.
Okay.
And probably replace it with like a Dolly Parton or a Johnny Cash or Garth Brooks.
Fair. That's fair. I think it's well placed.
Any final thoughts on Lorde before we wrap up the episode?
No. I noticed that there's an extended version, by the way, but Apple didn't put the extended version, so we didn't listen to the extended version. I just want to inform everyone of this, which is kind of weird because they specifically put like extended versions on other albums coming up, like down the list, or deluxe editions and shit like that. So it's interesting that they didn't want to do the extended.
Yeah,
that's it. That was the only like little tidbit I had. I think it makes for a nice little listen. It's only 40 minutes long, so
yeah. So just because I keep bringing him up because he is, while Lorde is a singer-songwriter on the album, Joe Little is her counterpart on this album. And I keep bringing him up just because of her influence on pop and his influence on pop. They go hand in hand. He's produced all of her music, but he's also, because he was Joe Little's first like big album was with Lorde. But he's also worked with Sam Smith. He's worked with
a lot of pop people.
Taylor Swift, Ellie Goulding, Khalid, Imagine Dragons, BB Rexa, Kesha, just tons of artists. So obviously the sound that him and Lorde came up with has moved on to other big artists as well. Which is great for both of them.
Yeah.
Like, to have that much influence on a genre has to feel great.
Yeah, it has to be real neat. Real cool. Kind of a bummer when you want to make more music, though.
Right. Now everybody has your sound. Yeah. But yeah, it's overall good it's a good album if you're into any of the artists we've named. Obviously, check out Lorde because be into it 100%. But it's that time, Alec, where the people are craving at this point your shout out.
Yeah, dude. This one's gonna be specific to Lorde. Like, shout out to all the people who sad girl danced to any of her songs back in 2013. I hope whatever made you sad girl dance to it is no longer a reason to sad girl dance. Hope you have new reasons to sad girl dance.
I hope that you got all your tears out to Lorde.
Yeah.
Now you found a new artist to get all your tears out to.
Yeah.
Selfie.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys at home for listening. We appreciate it. We have a lot more to go. We're only at 96 of 100. So it's going to be a long ride. Stay with us. I hope you enjoy. As always, like, comment, share. And until next time. Have a great day.
Yeah, bye.
Deuces. Thank you for listening to Hypothetically Sound. We hope you enjoyed the episode. All episodes can be found at hypotheticallysound.podbean.com, as well as on Apple, Spotify, and Pandora. For full unedited video versions of the podcast, please visit us at youtube.com/hypotheticallysound.